Hey everybody, and welcome to the 6th episode of the Luke Roxwell podcast. Today I am here with Michael.
What's up?
And Nick.
What's up?
So this is actually Nick's first time on the podcast, and
This is also the 7th podcast.
Oh, is it the 7th?
I think so.
Wait, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
it
is. It is the
Oh
7th.
no.
Oh no!
Happy 7th podcast, everybody.
The podcast is ruined.
And we got to start over again.
No, yeah,
Nah, it's fine.
we've already restarted once, but we're gonna just go with it. I think that's kind of funny. So, what I was gonna say was Michael's back on the podcast.
Yeah.
And
It was hard being gone.
Yeah, everyone else is gone now.
Yep. They fired me, then I came back, and then everyone else left.
No,
and
it's
then
kind
Nick
of
came.
funny because it's like we keep joking about firing you, and it's funny because like in the end, everyone's gonna quit, and you're gonna be the only one left.
This is be me, only me, on the Luke Roxwell podcast, and Luke won't be there anymore either.
That's right. I'll get fired too. But I'll be like crawling back. Hey, Michael, do you want to be on the podcast?
I'll let you back in. But it was interesting. I listened to the last podcast while I was on the plane back from Chicago, and like I was really sad that I wasn't there because you guys talked about a lot of things I wanted to talk about, and especially the Would You Rather's. I was really ready for that,
Oh,
but it was good.
I forgot to get a Would You Rather for this one. Maybe.
Oh, I had fun.
Yeah, you said you had a bunch of them, so let's save those for the end because I think
Okay.
those worked well at the end. But yeah, so let me actually say what I've been trying to say. Let me introduce Nick. So I've known Nick for forever.
Probably like 15 years, realistically.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's been a long time. I think Nick is probably the person. Like I haven't grown up with a whole lot of people, except for Nick. Nick's probably the only person I've ever like started as a kid with, and like just grew up and just have known him this whole time. So like we go way back. And Nick is you do a lot of things, Nick. Like you started kind of work through a company for a little bit. Then now you're trying to kind of work on a band, and I know you have some stuff that you kind of want to get into with this podcast related to that. We'll probably go through
Yeah, I
a couple
started
topics
a band
first.
I started the band like 3 months ago, and we've been like shuffling members. We just kicked the dude who did the singing after doing our first recording. So I heard Michael was a musician, and I wanted to go over that since he's like in this podcast.
Now
Awesome.
here's the thing, like since this is your first podcast, I want you to kind of get warmed up into it, but we can either jump into the topics that I have here, or we can start with your topic, and that's kind of up to you. What do you want to do with that?
I'm cool with starting with mine.
Oh, okay. All right.
Is it?
Yeah. So
We're out of the gate strong.
yeah, Michael, I told him that you're like a super musician who's been in bands forever, and so maybe you can help him out with this. So anyway, Nick, why don't you jump into what you have to say here? So you started a band. When did you actually start this band?
It was like 3 months ago. So I got together. I was just looking for a jam session on Craigslist, and then I met this drummer and a rhythm guitarist and singer. So we all got together and we jammed, and we wrote a whole song, and they were like, we should record this. So then it just kind of evolved into a band from that, like getting together
Cool.
and writing a song. And then after we got a bit more serious about it, it's a post-hardcore band, which is like a subgenre of metal that has like punk influences and stuff. So we found the screaming guy, and then we were all getting kind of serious about it, and then the dude who played the rhythm guitar and sang, we had to kick him because he was going away to school and for various other reasons.
You've told me a little bit about this, and I've told people just with this 48-hour film festival stuff that I've been doing that it's exactly like being in a band. Like making a movie with people is exactly like being with other people and working on a project. And I know, Michael, that you've been in three bands.
Yeah, 3 serious bands.
Okay.
Dang.
And like I obviously butt heads with people. Nick is kind of like me, where he wants everything like fast. And Michael,
Perfect.
where do you kind of fit into that spectrum? Are you more easygoing? I know you're a
I'm pretty
musician.
easygoing.
Uh oh.
I'm usually the peacemaker of any group that I'm in. Like I'm like, hey, it doesn't matter. We won't do that. But when it comes to music, I'm a perfectionist, and
Yeah.
I just like to make everything like cool and complicated. So, like my band would get kind of annoyed sometimes. So they'd be like, hey, let's add like a harmony here, or let's like do some hits here. And they're like, you're making the song too complicated. I'm like, dude, it's not. It's only complicated if you listen to me explain for 10 minutes how to play this part. But if you just heard it, it wouldn't be hard. That's kind of how it is.
It's all about
Yeah,
getting
my
your
drummer.
vision into their head, and that's the hardest part.
Yeah, it gets kind of difficult, but once you guys like get used to each other and you learn each other's styles and you all kind of like mesh, it becomes easier and easier.
So
Yeah, I mean,
Nick,
we have three members right now. Like we have right now, it's me. I play the lead guitar, and then we have a drummer and a dude who does screaming, and we mesh
Mhm.
really well. Except like they want the recordings to sound awesome, and I want live to sound awesome,
Mhm.
right? Like I want to be able to really accurately reproduce the recordings live when we play
but
shows
which
and
well, I
stuff.
mean, but which is more important?
I don't know.
It depends. Well,
Really?
like,
I would think
so,
that the
so
recording would be way more important.
well, I think what he's getting at is a lot of times when people they record stuff, they end up adding a buttload of instruments and extra sounds and things like that.
No, what
That are not
I'm really
always.
getting at is like, so we're searching for a vocalist now, and
Mhm.
my bandmates are like, well, we can use a little bit of auto tune to fix it, and they're looking for like what the singing. I get this is weird to say, but they're looking for what the singing sounds like, and I'm looking for a dude's ability to like hit the notes and actually sing what he's singing. Like
Okay,
they just want someone who sounds good enough so we could just go to the studio and record, and then they're like, oh, if we play live, he can just learn it later. But
that's kind of dumb.
I don't.
So it's a
That's what
tone.
I
Wait, so
thought.
it's like
I don't want that.
a tone versus technique.
Yeah,
Or
tone
tone
over
versus
pitch.
tune, I guess.
The pitch,
It's
yeah,
like,
pitch is what I was
Tone
looking
versus
for.
tune.
yeah.
Sounds like a show.
But it's
No, that's
I
definitely dumb.
okay. That's what I was thinking. Because they don't do, I guess, like one guy screams and one does drums. So I hate to put it like this, but they don't do the music part of the music, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like drumming's like the beat, and they don't have to. Like that's not their place. But me as a guitar player, like I hear it. I hear that the singing's off, and it really bothers me. And we just auditioned this guy. We've gone through like three people that we've auditioned, and they're both like, yeah, this guy sounds good, and I'm like, no, he's flat, or no, he's sharp, or he's not hitting the notes, or he sucks. Like there's always
Oh man,
something, and it's always
auditions.
me. And I feel like my bandmates are getting really frustrated with me because I keep turning down all these vocalists that we set up auditions for, even though I'm the one
Well,
who set up all the auditions so far.
the biggest thing is like when someone listens to a band, and it's kind of also a niche topic like the programming last week. But if someone listens to a band and then they find out that they don't sound good live, especially the vocals, then they immediately just like lose respect for that band.
Yeah,
Even people who aren't
that is true.
musicians, because
Yeah.
everyone uses autotune. Everyone ever, unless well, not everyone, but like it's not
I
uncommon.
feel like most bands do. It's just to the
Well,
extent
I'm
that
sure
they
there's some
do.
purists out there, and like there's some people who just don't know.
Yeah,
that they
but like
can.
I've done a little bit of recording on my own.
Mhm.
Like I have Logic Studio, and I've done some stuff on my own, and like especially things like drums or even vocals, where if it's just a hair off, it just ruins it. You know, and
That's
so
my point. It's like everyone adjusts things in the studio, so it's
Right.
not like it's
Yeah.
not cheating to use autotune or to use like pitch correction on an instrument or to move some beats around. So it's not like ridiculous to say, oh yeah, we can fix that in the studio. That's not a big deal.
Mhm.
But if they're
Yeah,
not
but to
talented,
fix
if they're
the
not,
whole
yeah,
chorus or the whole like, I mean, I
if
get
they're
like
not
we did the
talented, there's no
drums
point in them being in your
digitally.
band.
What? Sorry.
If they're not talented, then there's no point in them being in the band. If they're not good enough to actually do it in real life, then there's no point. You might as
Yeah,
well
that's
just
what I
make the
think.
whole
But
record
I don't
digitally.
know how to explain to them the importance of live because I mean, I get that they're getting impatient because we've been looking for about 3 weeks now. Like they're getting kind of impatient with our.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna say
we
because
haven't
how
had
long
many
has this been? Because
results.
you started the band 3 months ago,
Yeah,
and you have
then
how many
wrote
songs do
three
you have right now?
songs.
3 songs total,
We
three
have
finished
about
songs.
7 songs written, I think.
Oh, 7.
But like
Awesome.
it's I mean we've sort of shuffled it. So when we started the band, I put together the entire band in like 3 days, and everyone was pretty good at what they do. We had the rhythm guitarist and singer. We found a screamer at a karaoke night. And then the drummer came over from
Was he
Craigslist.
screaming at karaoke?
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's killer.
Really?
But like he missed,
Ah, well,
we let him miss
hold up.
9
Time out,
practices.
I do have to make sure I say this. We kind of dog on people from Florida a lot,
Oh
and
my god.
Nick is he lives in Florida and he's from Florida.
Floridian.
Yep,
Yes.
Florida man, like the superhero. So
Yeah.
So in
lame
Florida they have
superhero.
screamo karaoke.
No, they just have karaoke, and this dude was screaming. Anyway, he was really good, but he missed 9 practices because he was getting drunk and stuff. So
9.
we just kicked him out.
Yeah, I'd kick him out.
And
he's
9
doing too much
practices.
karaoke, man.
That's the thing,
Too
man.
much
It took
karaoke.
us. It took us 9 missed practices to kick this guy out, and like we finally kicked him. And then I found the screamer, and like I think it took like 3 days because he was already my friend on Facebook, and I thought he was already in a band. So I messaged him like, "Hey man, I know you're in a band. Do you know anyone who wants to join a post-hardcore band or metalcore band as a screamer?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm looking to join a band." So we auditioned him. He was awesome, and then like
Sweet.
he was in, and we all clicked, right? So I don't know.
So
I don't
hold
want
up. I
someone
want
who
to go back
sucks.
to the first guy. So you had him for 9 practices. How often do you guys practice a week?
In the beginning, we were practicing 2 or 3 times a week.
So he was in for
So-
like 2 months before you kicked him.
Okay, maybe we practiced more than 3 times a week. I don't know. It was 9 practices in like 4 weeks.
I'm
or
trying
something
to
like
like
that.
see the timeline of everything that happened.
Either way,
you
that's
know?
too long.
It was like 5 weeks. I
When
guess.
okay, so Michael, when should he have kicked?
Well,
Like
I guess this is where
if
it's
someone
funny.
if someone misses practice, because I was in a band sort of in a band with some people, and we were gonna play like one tiny show in front of just some of our friends at like a party, and it was like our first show, and the drummer like almost missed it, like he almost didn't show up,
That's lame.
and it's like it's the first show, dude, can't do that.
Yeah,
So
I've heard of
what?
that
So
before.
Michael, what is your limit? What would make you kick somebody out of a band?
Well, it depends. So earlier when I said I'm a peacemaker about stuff, I'm really chill. I am chill, but like if someone's just not doing what they're supposed to be doing, then I'm like, there's no point in you being here. So if this band is less than a couple months old and some guy can't make it to 3 practices in a row, I'd be like, well, he doesn't want to be in this band. He's not even actually in the band. He's not here, so he's not in the band. I would have kicked him out like the 3rd time probably.
Oh man, how many
Yeah.
times
Like, you know,
did he?
stuff happens, but like
Right.
if something happens every day for nine practices in a row,
Actually-
they're just physically not able to be in the band,
Yeah,
even if
yeah.
they're good or whatever.
I
Well,
guess
actually,
the
Nick,
problem
you were
was,
telling
like,
you were telling me about that guy the other guy was this another guy that was that lied to you?
No, the guy who lied to me is the rhythm guitarist and singer that we just kicked out 3 weeks ago. Because he was basically saying, "Hey, I have medical stuff,"
we'll get back
and we
to that.
found
We'll
out
get
he
to
was
that
like,
then.
"Oh,
So
shit." Okay,
don't go to that yet. We'll get to
This
that.
is a dramatic band for like 3 months. There's a lot going on. You can make a documentary right now, and it'd be like an hour long.
That's true.
Okay, hold up, guys. We had to stop really quick because we had some microphone issues. So we're back now. Nicholas, I think you were talking about you had your first singer with you for 9 practices, and then you ejected him. And now, where are we now?
That was the screamer. So we had this one dude who was gonna scream for us. That's when we still had our singer. So screaming and singing are 2 different
So the screamer was a flake.
positions. Yeah, a super flake. Like he came to 1 practice. Like he came to like our 3rd ever band practice, and he wouldn't scream because he was sick. And we were like, okay, whatever. We could just work on music then.
What, did he just sit
So-
around?
Singers.
He just like kind of wanted to hear what we had, I guess, because we already, that very first practice we wrote our whole first song, right? So, and then we had some riffs from our second practice that we were working on and things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, wanted to like hear what we had.
Actually, let's time out for 1 second. Michael, what are the worst members of the band?
Probably vocalists, because they're really complicated and they're
Really?
always sick. They don't eat enough vitamin C.
Not drummers? I feel like drummers are pretty bad.
My drummer's pretty chill.
I guess these are the stereotypes that I've encountered. Drummers are never on time somehow, even though that's their job is to keep time. Singers are kind of divas sometimes, not usually, but they're divas not because they're always like arrogant, but sometimes they just don't know how music works, and they are always sick, and they're kind of like they don't know music usually. It's kind of difficult to work with.
Right.
guitar players could be kind of like divas. Like I don't think I'm a diva like in my demands, but when it comes to music, I'm like I said before, if I'm writing a song or working on something, I kind of want it to be really musical, and I have lots of ideas. So might get kind of annoying if I'm stopping us every 10 minutes
I
to
feel like
change something.
guitarists would have the strongest opinions. Drummers are late, and then singers. I think the thing about singers is singers are probably the most like actors because they like talking. They like because to be a singer, you have to be comfortable with projecting and throwing your voice around.
Also, singing a lot like acting is like actors. You know, they're generally what makes someone a good actor is if they're attractive and charismatic. So for them, like their whole like being is like their talent. So they're kind of I don't know, like not always prideful, but it's more a part of them. So it's more
Right.
serious.
Right.
You know, if I insult like Nick's guitar playing, he might just be like, "Oh, he just doesn't like my style," or maybe I just didn't play well that day. But if you insult someone's voice, that you're literally insulting like themselves,
That's
their
true.
body,
It's a
Yeah.
part
the way
of
that
them.
they express themselves.
Like,
So
your
it's a little
voice is
different. Like I
annoying.
get why singers are kind of temperamental, but
It's actually I think
most of the
I
singers I
think
work with are pretty
singing
cool.
is I think singing takes the most courage too, because
Yeah, because
The
it's your
voice-
actual like self you put out
yeah
there.
yeah. Because like
I
think
can
about
do
this: would you be more comfortable if you're in a crowd of people and you just clap your hands, which makes a lot of noise, or yell? Like
No
one,
clapping.
yeah, because that one's
Yeah,
not
definitely.
doesn't have to do with like your voice. You know, one
Yep.
is I don't know why that would be, really, but it makes sense.
It does.
So
Yes.
you ejected the screamer.
Yes. And then we found our other screamer like 3 days later. Because as I mentioned, he was already my friend on Facebook. I thought he was in a band, and I asked him for some contacts, and he was the contact. So
Awesome.
we auditioned him, and we were all like, well, the drummer and I, our rhythm guitarist and singer, didn't come to the audition. Our drummer and I were like, wow, he's good. So we recorded him. We sent him to a rhythm guitarist, and he said, these recordings are crappy. We should schedule a second audition. So we scheduled a second audition, and then that's when all of us were like, whoa, he's really good. And then, yeah, we invited him to join the band, like, almost on the spot.
Oh wow!
Awesome.
So he's really good.
Awesome. Like, he can do, like, all the lows, all the highs, and, like, everything in between. And it's like, I don't know. You could show him a band and be like, scream like this guy, and it's like he can just do it, you know?
So-
he's been
so at
doing
this
it for
point-
9 years.
Oh man, that's like as long as I've been.
That's impressive.
Wow.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's you, the bassist, the screamer, the drummer, and you guys are set, right?
It's me,
Dang it!
the drummer, and the screamer.
Oh,
We don't have a
no
bassist.
Yeah, I play bass. You
basically.
guys paid to fly me out there. I'll play with y'all.
That's
Be
true.
awesome. We do need a bassist.
Yeah, you actually,
Yeah, so-
you really need a bassist. What did you do for recording?
I played the bass.
What?
Yeah, you can probably play bass like good enough for recording. Most guitar players, well, I don't know. So my bass player in my band used to always say I have it's like GPTHPS syndrome. Like guitar player thinks he can play bass syndrome. 'Cause,
Wait. What was that?
I don't know the acronym, but like you always say you think you can play bass because you think you can play because you play guitar, but you can't really. You don't know how it works.
Yeah, I mean,
'Cause
like
bass-
I can play a bass with a pick,
I mean, it's
but that's not the same.
Well, it's not so much as the technique as it is the function of the instrument. Like bass is a rhythm instrument, and guitar is like almost like a vocal instrument. Like guitar is more melodic.
Yeah.
Bass
yeah.
can be melodic. And you can play a bass like a guitar and sound sweet, but the function of the bass in most bands is to like go with the drums. So
Right.
it is a little bit different, but most guitar players can play bass, and if they're good musicians all around,
We
they
just
can
kinda
play
made
enough for
the-
recordings.
we made the bass follow the rhythm guitar.
Yeah, so that's pretty easy.
There are a lot of
for
bassists.
someone who plays guitar.
A lot of bassists who are probably really mad at that.
Yep, they get angry.
Yeah. I mean, we can throw a
really,
bass solo in or something, but that's kind of why I left the. We haven't looked for a bassist or a rhythm guitarist yet because we're kind of trying to find someone who can play guitar, and then maybe we can get them to play bass because then they won't feel so in the background. Like they'll have like a upfront contribution.
Right.
Isn't the bass player more in the background than the
Yeah.
rhythm guitarist?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bassists.
usually.
Basically.
So that's
So-
why if the singer plays bass, he has like his, I don't know, his sort of time to shine. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
But playing bass and singing actually is pretty hard.
Yeah,
Well, in a metal band, maybe not.
I feel like playing any instrument and singing is singing is hard by itself.
Yeah.
Depends what you're doing. Because for me, if I sing and play bass, like I said before, bass isn't so much like a guitar. You can like strum along and play like constantly, and it still sounds right. But with bass, it's like a lot of rhythmic stuff, like stops and just like pauses.
Right.
So it gets kind of confusing if you're like singing, but you're also playing the rhythm at the same time. It gets interesting.
Right.
Yeah,
Especially if the rhythm's complicated.
Yeah, we have some complicated rhythms. Like in the song we recorded, I can already tell that it's going to be very, very hard to sing and play that song. Strumming pattern. Not even the strumming pattern that's weird. It's like there's some stops in the chord progression or whatever.
Well, I mean, especially with metal, you got so many like
Yeah.
palm muting moments and letting things ring out, and then rapid.
We're also
fire
open to
kind
the
of
two
strumming.
vocalist idea, like We Came as Romans does. where they
So I
have a
want to
singer
know
and a
this. I
screamer.
want to know this story.
I always
So
like that. Like
what-
Emery does that a lot too.
So
They have,
so
like,
Nick,
4 or
what's
5 vocalists.
where does this story go? Like, what else happened?
Oh yeah. So anyway, after we kicked the screamer, we were left with me, the rhythm guitarist slash singer, the drummer, and now the new screamer. Right. So this dude, like, the rhythm guitarist and singer, he skipped out on a few practices and okay, so we scheduled a recording date with the dude who did like the Pop Goes Punk albums, like that producer.
Wow.
Right. So
That's awesome.
we were like, it was like a month and a half in advance. And then our rhythm guitarist and singer texts me and says, "Hey man, my family scheduled a vacation over those days, like a week before the recording dates."
Whoa.
So we were freaking pissed. Like, that was the stupidest
It's-
thing.
Did you guys have to pay a deposit?
Oh,
No, we didn't, thank God.
That's good.
The guy's so understanding. He's such a cool dude.
he's probably so used to musicians pulling this kind of thing.
He's probably used to flaky musicians. And I mean, he's so high in demand, so he just schedules the days like, hey,
Right.
he can like email a label and be like, hey, I have this weekend open, probably, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was stupid.
He's obviously making money if he's doing that type of recording.
Yeah, he's basically, he made the album that made Mayday Parade famous. There's another band called From First to Last that he did. He did like their early albums. I don't know. He's worked with a ton of like really popular bands, and he's really in the scene, like in the type of music that we want to write.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Right.
Anyway. After that happened, our drummer was pissed off because he was the one who made the contact and scheduled the dates and stuff. So I wasn't pissed until the day after.
This is so much drama. You haven't even recorded an album yet.
It's 3 months in. Like, it's
played.
stupid.
You have no EP, no albums. You've never played live, and you're all fighting already.
We don't even have a Facebook page, and we came up with our band name like 3 weeks ago. Like, it's.
I think you just need to move this thing along.
She just
I
quit.
know.
Yeah,
I don't want to quit because I
Become
love
a scientist instead.
Oh no.
Do you hear that one a lot, Michael? Is that something that you hear in your life?
Nah, quitting. Well, sometimes they're like, why don't you get a real job? I'm like, I had 3 real jobs.
Oh man, I hate
Nick,
that.
now you and Nick can get along with or start a conversation on that one.
I hate that. I've
I've been thinking about jobs all week. I don't talk about it anymore. But so it's funny because like I was never in a metal band really. In high school, I was in a metal band, but we didn't have screaming because none of us could scream. It was kind of like System of a Down mixed with Rise Against,
Okay.
like kind of
That
punky,
sounds cool.
Punk.
metally guitars.
Yeah.
But I totally get like the band drama, and like the worst thing is auditions. So
Is
like,
this a big thing? I have never been to a band audition, and I don't know what they're like.
I mean, it's not people don't come. I mean, it's not like a big thing, like people like a large event.
No, but
We just do
you
one at
have,
a time.
Yeah, you get one
Yeah.
person, and then they come
Yeah, you
over.
don't like have like a crowd
do
of
you
people
sit,
in a waiting room.
Do you sit at a table with a clipboard and go, all right?
Sometimes I do to freak them out. So on my band that is kind of on hiatus right now. We had a full band with a singer, a bass player / keyboardist, me on guitar, and a drummer. And long story short, our singer and bass player both left to pursue other things. No hard feelings, we're good. But we're trying to rebuild the band.
Where those other things come in?
So no, it was ministry. We had to find
Just
some
like
atheists.
people get married or something like that, and then they leave bands.
They were both already married, so they both
Oh.
kind of had stuff going on that they didn't want to compromise, which I get.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
But
that makes sense.
so we were looking for a bass player, and like bass, like not to bash on bass players in any way,
Do it.
but like bass
Bash
is one of
them.
those instruments you don't have to be super good to play bass in a band.
Oh
Bass players
man.
are excellent, but like to play like our music, we
Right.
play like
Well,
like
it's almost like
alternative rock.
if you play violin. Now here I'll bash guitar. If you play violin versus guitar, like you can play.
Yeah, violin's a lot harder to sound good at.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
play
Like-
E minor,
Nice.
G, D, C. Done. I can play every
Yep.
worship song
Exactly.
on the guitar. You know,
Like,
but it's
literally,
like
you know,
to
like,
play violin just to get the first note to sound good.
Mm-hmm.
It takes forever.
Yeah, it's hard. So some instruments are just easier. Like I think it's like piano, bass, and then guitar are the three easiest in that order. Like piano is the easiest one. I hear that from piano players all the time. But these like
Yeah, I suppose it would. I think.
we auditioned, and they're all hard to master. They're all awesome. But we auditioned like 3 or 4 bass players, and they all sucked like really bad. Like not even just like oh they're not like
Yes.
quite on our level or they're not serious enough. So there was one guy, he auditioned for us, and we found him on Craigslist. He seemed like a cool dude. His name was Chad. He was in the military, but he was about to get out, and he had a lot of time off, like saved up.
Why did you tell us his
And,
name was Chad?
I don't know. Sounds like a cool name. He had a cool name. He had a cool job. And he was like, yeah, I've been playing bass for about 10 years. And, like, I wanted to do music full time. I was like, whoa, he's probably better than me. He's been playing for twice as long as I have. I was actually intimidated going into the, like, audition. So I was, like, excited. And he plays. And, like, I don't know how much you guys know about music theory, but we were playing a chord progression. Essentially, it was E minor. It was
I
C,
know a
E
little
minor to
bit.
B minor.
Okay.
And then over the B minor, he would like hammer on. He played the whole chord progression wrong, and then played other notes. He played like a C hammering on a D for the B minor. It just didn't make any sense. It was just wrong. And he was like, "Yeah, music is my life." And I was like, "Dude, are you even alive? You don't even music." I was
Music
so
is my life,
sad.
dude. You must be.
And that was like the third person who said that. Like they were like, "I love music so much. Music's what I want to do full time. I play
Wow.
bass every day."
Wow, Chad.
And they like, and they
Chad's,
just sucked. Like,
Chad's not going to be a musician.
nope. He better not be. He's not.
He
good at it.
probably drives a BMW and wears a hat backwards
Probably.
and
He's a
plays
douche.
music through his
He
window.
sucks anyway. No, but like it was just weird. Like they weren't just like not very good musicians. It wasn't like, oh yeah, he could practice and get better. They were just like they thought that they were awesome and they were the worst at everything.
Dude, that is exactly the problem I have with trying to find a singer. People go, yeah, man, I sing. And then they send the recording, and it's just, like, not even... I don't know how to
Yeah, it's not
explain
even,
how
like, a little
not
bit
close
good.
it is. It's not... It's like...
See, the thing is, like, I know with I think we're probably all like this. Well, okay, we're not, but we can all recognize pitch because I have a pretty good ear in terms of like I can hear things sound off. That doesn't mean that I can hit pitches. If that makes sense.
You don't come off as arrogant, Luke. You're fine. You can just say that you can hear. No,
Yeah. Well, the thing is that like I'm like one of those people that knows when it's wrong but can't do it himself.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't get when people... It's like they sing and they don't listen to their recordings or something. Like, they record
Right.
it.
Yeah,
and
'cause
it's
you'd, like, you'd think that
how
they
can
would
you listen to
listen to
this
it.
and think it's good?
Right.
It is not
Like-
at all good. It's not close. It's
Like, I
the
can
wrong
sing all
octave
right.
and the wrong notes. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Like I can sing okay, but even if I hear a recording of myself singing, I'm like, oh, that's bad. Like I don't like it, and I can sing enough.
Right.
There are people
Yeah.
who they think that they can sing, and they listen to a recording themselves, and they somehow still think that they can sing. And I'm like, what? What happens? Like, what kind of Instagram
Annoying,
filter do you
dude.
have between your ears and your brain?
That's true. That's true.
and then there's the people there's the vocalists who say like, yeah, man, I can sing like any, like name a band and I can sing like that singer. Obviously, like they're not even worth the time, like to try to get a recording from, because we
I
went
think
through
they're
we go
just-
through a
Sorry, go ahead.
process of like we find the vocalist and they're like, all right, when you send us a recording of your singing, then we'll schedule an audition. Right.
Yeah.
So many people just like, I guess, are scared to send recordings, or they're like, oh, I don't have time. Like this one dude I've been talking to for a
I
week.
don't have time.
Like, yeah, I know. It's like, how do you have time to play in a band? Like,
It's 3 minutes. It takes you 3 minutes.
you literally open your phone, hold the record button on Facebook, and then even you can play it on YouTube or whatever, so you can cover it. Like, I don't care if it's like a
Just
30
send a
second
memo.
segment of a cover. Like, I just want to know that you can. I want to know what your voice sounds like and that you can hit notes. And then we schedule an audition. And I tell them that. They're like, well, how about we just do the audition in person? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just honest with them. I say, well, we've had so many people that are just very bad, so we don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
It's just, oh man.
Well, I think earlier we talked about how people say like name a band I could sound like them. That's funny because when I was like 8 years old, I thought that I could do that because like you know like, how in your head like it like reverbs differently, and also you just like, when you're making a noise, it always sounds better.
Yeah.
Like I thought I could sing like I don't know if you guys know this, but the singer from Mercy Me, he's like a Christian singer with like a southern twang.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought I could sing. I was like, I can only imagine. And that sounds good. I sound just like him. But I didn't. I was 8. I didn't know.
It's kind
So
of
I
like
think these people are just
Oh,
still
and
8
like,
years old.
see, the thing is, doing videos, like growing up doing videos, whether they're vlogs or movies or whatever it is so heartbreaking when you finally realize who you are, like what you sound like, what you look like, and, you know, like it's like, oh, I'm making this cool look.
I haven't listened to a
smiling
recording
good,
of
or
my
I'm-
voice in so long, and when I listen to this podcast, I'm probably gonna be
You're
sad.
gonna hate it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
I feel like my voice always sounds really weird on the podcast, but I'm also not used to hearing my voice outside of my head.
It's really sad
Yeah.
when you say something like that and then nobody disagrees.
Oh man.
It's like,
yep, yeah.
oh yeah, see, I've
Sounds
got like
weird.
this awkward sounding pauses. No one answers.
Well, I guess I do. Dang it.
Yeah.
Really, it's like, well, don't be so quick to reassure me, guys.
But those are some good friends. They're not lying to you.
Yeah.
They're not-
I
well,
think that's
I
what,
mean-
maybe that's the problem with those singers, right? Is they get lied to and they believe
That's what I
lies.
think.
friends.
Actually, that's what I think happens with a lot of film people, because they hang out with just film people, and so nobody sits around. I mean, you guys all watched those movies that we made, and Nick
Yeah.
hated them. Well, he hated the
I hated the
second one.
second one.
Yeah, and
Yeah, the
Brent.
second one was dumb.
Yeah,
I was like,
see,
that's bad. The story, I don't get it.
yeah, and so like a lot of people are telling him that film is super good
Why, dude? It's not. Like,
because
That's
there's all film people. It's like I want to impress my audience, which is
I
not
want to
film
impress
people.
my friends and family a lot of time, and luckily they're honest. So when I actually do something good, they tell me, and I like feel satisfied. 'Cause
Right.
They're not telling
Wait,
me
so-
everything's good.
So wouldn't film people be more critical of other film people? Maybe not.
Well,
or
if
to their
okay,
face,
so
do they want to like keep the relationship with that people?
I think that part of it is a part of it is a friendship. Like, well, dude, I appreciated the shots looked so good and your camera work. Oh, that just blew my. And so they kind of like feed them compliments where they can.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the other thing too is film people will take a film and then look at what there is to appreciate about it. So, for example,
Yeah. And
it'd be like
the
this,
details are good to them.
right? And so, if if we compare this to music and people listen to a band and they didn't like the song, you could take that song and think about it and be like, well, this is a good chord progression. This is a good scale. It's technically written correct. They did a good job composing it. It's mixed correctly, or it's mixed extremely well. It's just not a very good song, you know. And so,
Yeah. With art, there's like that unquantifiable, like, thing that just makes it good or bad.
right. And so the thing is,
Yeah.
when you guys watch those movies, you just go, I don't like it. It's not. I didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And so like that's what I always try to make my movies for, is that regular person that watches it and goes, this is really cool. I want to go show this to my friends. See, you guys aren't showing those films to your friends.
Nope.
Yeah, neither am I.
Not anymore.
Not that you guys aren't my friends, but like, you know, I'm just not really showing them around because I'm not real. They don't really make sense. Most people won't like them.
Yeah, I think also no one wants to be like known as the guy. Like if there's a community of filmmakers, no one wants to be that guy who says that someone else's movie sucks and then everyone thinks that they're a jerk and doesn't want to work with them.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah, but if
It's
I
like-
was in any type of art, I would want someone that I could go to for like high quality feedback. Like when I showed Luke a lot of our early stuff, I remember sending him one song and he's like, "Nick, this sucks." And like while I was like, "Oh man, that hurts," I was like, yeah, I listened to it again and again. I'm like, "Yeah, this does suck."
Wait, did I really say it sucks?
Well, you said this is bad or something like that.
Didn't I say?
'Cause I
what
sent
the-
you-
No, I think. Okay, hold up. We gotta clarify because I'm not a jerk. I feel like
He
because you
wasn't-
sent me
he
a
didn't
lot of
say
stuff.
it douchily.
No, because you sent me a lot of stuff that I liked, and then you sent me one. I was like, I don't know about this one, and I said I don't think this one's very good or something.
I think
like
I
that.
sent you our first song, and you were like, "Wow, I like it," and then you didn't say anything negative about it, like no criticism. So
Right,
was
because
like,
I really
oh.
liked it.
Yeah, and then I sent you something I was working on or something like that. I don't know, a
Oh
breakdown.
yeah, you
You're
showed
"This
me
is
like
bad."
a riff, and it was to me it wasn't interesting, and I think I
Yeah,
remember saying like
yeah.
I don't like this. This is really boring.
I think it
or
was
I
to
something.
the
remember.
song to the first song we recorded. I sent you my original chorus to that, and you said it was boring. And then I
Oh
changed
yeah,
it, and
that
now it's way better.
that chorus. Yeah.
I remember when I was like
Anyway.
16 or 17. I showed my friend a song I wrote, and he was like, "And you want to sell this?" I was just like, "Shut up, you dick! You don't know anything." Word for word, that's exactly how the conversation went.
It's like
But he has terrible taste in music to this day. So
you,
maybe he was right, maybe he was wrong.
you just keep
We'll never
telling
know.
yourself that, Michael. that's what I do. It's like, yeah, people didn't really like my movie, but I mean they're wrong.
They don't make movies. They don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there is always stuff to learn, but you also need to pick and choose where you learn it from, and you need to pick and
Yep.
choose where you show things. Because
But
like,
if someone who knows nothing about art, about your art, doesn't like it, they are representative of like 90% of the market.
yeah, I mean they can be
So
at least.
they are right.
Yeah, and like that's
Yeah,
the thing about
that's-
bands, because when you're a movie person, you don't really get that performance. You don't really get to go on stage and perform like you do in a band. And so
Yeah,
think
you don't
about
get
it
the
when
immediate feedback.
you and Nick, hopefully this doesn't happen to you, but like when you're with your band, you start making this project, you start getting attached to it, you start kind of really liking the stuff you're coming up with, and you fall in love with it, and then you go and play in front of a bunch of people, and they don't react, and then you start
Dude.
yeah, but like that's what kind of gets you out of
Yeah.
that falling in love with your own work attitude, and gets you more towards being more critical of your work and actually making it better.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the one thing I love about our drummer is he's so critical about the recording. Like I'm so critical about live, and I really want a singer. Like the screaming vocalist and drummer and I, like they're together on the recording, and I'm like on my own for all this. Like we gotta sound awesome live. I don't care about like a perfect reproduction. Like I don't care about if we add synth stuff or different harmonies to the recording and we can't do that live. But it's like if we get a singer, he has to be able to sing the song live. Especially if like our drummer wants to write a few songs that are majority singing, and I wrote one that's all singing. He's got to be able to do it. We can't just. I don't want to. I feel like autotune is a lie, right? And it's like
I think
if
we think we just lost you, Nick. Can you say that one more time? I just made a marker to delete this. So you said you were just saying that your drummer. You said you didn't care if you had synths and stuff, but you cared about like if it was all like oh shoot. What
Yeah,
were you
restart
saying?
from
no, like kind of. So I don't care if we make a recording and it has like some harmonies, maybe some like vocal harmonies or instrumental harmonies that we can't replicate live, or if it has some
Right.
synth stuff that we can't replicate live. Like we can just put that on a recording. I'll be fine with that. But like if someone's singing and it's like all auto-tuned and he can't like perfectly replicate the choruses live, or if we have an
Right.
all singing song, he can't perfectly replicate that live with his voice, I don't think he should be in the band.
Totally
And like
agree.
I don't know why they're disagreeing with me on this stuff. Maybe
Well, it is hard.
Maybe it's
to
the way
find
I
a singer
communicate
like
it.
that. Because I mean, most singers that you find, like even a lot of the good bands, if you listen to them, not in a recorded live performance, but like a cell
Oh, yeah, a
phone
lot of them
recording,
suck.
yeah,
because
that's
they
so
fix
that's
those.
the other thing.
They fix those recordings. Like when you see those live performances, they fix those. At least a lot.
Yeah,
of them.
that's so that's the other thing is that they, when I point out that I want a vocalist who can sing, they're like, well, so many bands and they're right about this. Almost every band in this scene isn't able to sing their stuff live. They're right, but it's like I don't want to use that as an excuse to not be good.
right.
Yeah, do you want to be as bad as everybody else or better than everybody else?
Yeah, I
Exactly.
think I'm
it's
torn.
like they want to be good enough. I don't want to be good enough. It's like I don't see this as a like. I don't see it as like let's take our band and compare it to what's out there. I see like let's just take our band and look at it for what it is and be the best. Like make it the best music that it can be,
See,
regardless of other.
I'm
like,
torn with it because
influences.
I agree with you in the sense that like you should make your band the best as you can make it. But I've mentioned this to you before. You don't want to get stuck in this like pre-production development mode forever, where you never get anything done because you get so caught up in wanting everything to be perfect, and so you never release an album.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I mean, it's been
I've
it's
thought
been
a
3
lot
months
about
already.
that.
But if it's not good, it doesn't matter anyway.
I kind of
Yeah.
disagree because I feel like, and this is kind of more recent, because this is kind of what I changed with my vlogs. If you had the choice of making one 100% song or 50, 80% songs, which would you do?
I don't know, man. I feel like I would do the 100%.
Oh, I
Like,
disagree
Yeah.
because I feel like the
I
80.
know,
If you
but-
do 50, here's why. Here's my logic. Because I know there's kind of a controversy in this, but if you do 50, 80% songs, I think you learn way more than when you do one 100% song.
Yeah, but
And
writing
you
a
have-
song is different than finding a vote. Like with writing a song, there's hundreds and hundreds of pieces that go into that. There's so much that can go into perfection. But finding
Well, same with
you know,
videos.
finding someone who can sing is like that's one piece of one band, and that's a constant. Like,
Right.
You find that vocalist.
Yeah,
You find them
and
one
I'm not saying
time.
you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying be careful with that because I think that there can be a toxic side to it.
Yeah, you can like hold yourself back so much that you never progress.
Right.
I agree with
Yeah.
Luke on there, but Luke, this is also like the guitar diva thing I was telling you about earlier. This is our thing.
Being a
It's like
perfectionist.
a singer.
Yeah, but you just
can't
I've worked
sing
with
live.
so many people that are like perfectionists about stuff and then they never finish anything. Like imagine
guess
if we
it
were
doesn't have to
perfectionists about this
be-
podcast and we never released an episode. It would
I guess
fail.
if it was, but you have to like it. Like if it's imperfect and I like it, I'll be like, okay. But I don't want to like be playing the song for an audience and I have to maintain its energy. And I'm like, ah, shit, the chorus is coming. Here we go. You know,
It's the same
like
thing. What if Nick couldn't play guitar, but he was still in the band, and they just fixed it all in the studio? It's the exact same thing. If you
Well-
can't play
well,
guitar,
yeah.
we're
Oh my
kind of
God,
we're kind
I
of
need to
comparing
bring
this
that
in different ways because I'm talking about like 80% versus 100% and you guys are kind of talking more about like a 20% person.
Well, right now we're talking about this like a musician's ability. Like, okay, say
Right.
for you, if you were gonna have a cameraman work on your films, and he's never been a cameraman before. He doesn't even know how to work the camera, but he can aim, but he can't like zoom or adjust exposure or anything or press pause.
He's basically a
Press
guy who
record.
just stands there and holds
Yeah,
the
like
camera for
he
you.
literally
He's
can't
like a grip.
do it. Yeah, he can't. He actually can't do it. Like it's not like
yeah.
Well, yeah,
you
but
wouldn't be
see,
foolish for holding
that's
out
like
for someone who
yeah,
can do it.
I agree. But it's like because that guy is at like the 20% mark. So here's the thing: if I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that I know that are all 20%, like that's their level of how good they are with the camera, and then I meet a few people that are 50%, I'd still be like, no, you're 50%. Now I need something that can
Yeah,
get
it's-
me the result I want. But if I found someone who is like 80 or 90%. The problem I have is people get this kind of Steve Jobs attitude where they're like, it's not 100%. No, we're not going to use
yeah.
them. And it's like, now you're throwing
what you're
away a
saying there.
really good resource
Okay, I
because
guess-
you're being picky to the point of ruining
It
the
sounds
product.
like these dudes though that he's talking about are under 50%.
Yeah,
It,
yeah,
I
agree.
guess
That's the vibe I'm
the
getting.
thing is, like, it's not like they're missing one or two notes when they're singing it. It's like every note they sing is okay. I would say every note they sing is like 10 or 20% off pitch. But like for every note in the chorus to be 10 or 20% off pitch, like,
that's,
awful.
that's a lot.
That's
It's like-
100% miss.
and the thing is, man, my
really, that is
bandmates,
0 points on Guitar Hero.
but like my
Exactly.
bandmates don't hear that, so I can't tell them like,
Dude,
I
you
don't
should
know,
fire
it's-
your band.
because
If they can't hear
we
pitch,
make,
they're not good
Yeah, but
musicians
he's
anyway.
if he's a drummer.
but they don't have to.
If it's a drummer, he
He's a
doesn't-
drummer and a
he doesn't-
screamer. They don't really have to hear pitch. They just have to like,
I don't know.
you know,
I wouldn't
maintain
even
the
be in a band with
rhythms.
those
Do you think
guys.
a drummer
I would be
needs to
like,
hear
dude,
pitch?
don't even-
I guess if it keeps going, maybe I'm just being stupid and maybe I haven't talked to them enough about it. But this is how I'm
Maybe.
feeling right now, based on like the fact that they want, like, we auditioned a singer, and I'm like, I guess he's good, but I don't know, I don't feel right about him, you know, and
Right.
I don't want my band to be too pushy about someone that's
Yeah.
just not.
I'm
Yeah,
not trying to
it's- I don't
be
know, man.
like saying that what you're doing isn't right. I'm trying to be devil's advocate, being like, there is one side of the spectrum that you're avoiding, but be careful because there is another side of the spectrum on the opposite end that can hurt your band just as much. And that's
Yeah.
when you try too hard to make everything exactly perfect, and then you never make anything ever, and you spend your whole because there are people that spend 20 years in this. It's not exactly perfect. Like, for example, I have never really played in a band or played live because I got too kind of finicky about like, well, I'm not good enough yet. I'm not ready to play live, and so then I never did.
Yeah. I was
Yep.
like that up until like 3 months ago. I was just like, screw it, gonna put the ad on Craigslist, and like I'm happy with how I'm performing and stuff. And but it's like I don't know, man. A messy singer is like, what if I had a messy guitar solo? It just wouldn't sound right. It's like if I played a messy guitar solo for my bandmates, they'd be like, oh, that's pretty good. Kind of like when I was messy at guitar, some of my friends would be like, wow, that's really good. But now that I'm like better and I can play almost everything clean, it's like it's such a different like.
Yeah.
The thing is, they haven't seen a perfect singer yet, so they don't have like a side by side comparison of what could be and what they might get. It's
I think
Right.
the difference is, Luke, two things. One, when it comes to a singer, that's like literally the face of your band, and it matters a whole lot how they sound. Like
Yeah,
every band
yeah,
you hear,
I know.
your opinion is based off the vocals, no matter how musical you are.
I think I'm
And
taking
also,
kind of
it's
a,
just
like a
like
broad concept and fitting it
yeah,
into this one place where it probably doesn't quite fit as well.
yeah. I
this
think in
is
general
this is
you're
about
right.
yeah, but
I
this
think in
is
this
about
case it's
building
different.
a team, right? And they have to like I don't know, when I was trying to do a tech startup, which I could get onto another time, but when I was trying to do that, it was like every investor I talked to was all about like you need a 100% team. Like everyone has to be the best on your team or we're not going to put money in. Like that's just how it is, man. I feel like it's that way with a band too. Every
Yeah.
musician, they
Well,
don't have to be
yeah,
the best, but they have to
the team
be
is
able to
extremely
play
important.
what they're
So Luke,
playing.
like, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm done.
Oh yeah, so like if he was working on a song and like he was like spending like months on this one song, then what you're saying totally applies. But when
Yeah.
you're trying to find people, like you have to find people who can do it. And
Yeah,
honestly, it's just
yeah,
hard
I
to
know,
find
I
people
know,
who can do it.
and but I mean, imagine with this podcast. I'm sorry, I am playing devil's advocate a little bit here. I do agree with you for the most
Damn
part.
it.
I just want you to agree with me. So with this podcast, I set a deadline that I was going to hunt for people for only a certain amount of time, because I could weigh the pros and cons of different people. I could make everybody take a personality test and then compare them and then do research on the personalities and like try to measure and it got to a point where it was like, look, we just have to do a few episodes and kind of see where it goes and see if it works. And with
Yeah.
a singer, I know it is different with a singer. It is different because a singer is an extremely high priority part of the band, because it does affect human vocals are so unique that it really does channel where the genre goes, where the music goes, the way it sounds.
Yeah.
And so this might be the one case where it's like, yeah, you really need to find someone who is 90 or 95% just nailing exactly what you're looking for, because they are very important, just like a CEO.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't care if they miss one or two notes. Like it's like they missed the high note, whatever.
Well, yeah, well, the people,
or
to
they're
be
having
fair,
a bad day.
the people you showed me sucked.
I know, but that's
They
what
were
I'm
so
saying.
bad.
Is like I'm like this is what my bandmates are seeing when they look up live videos on YouTube. So what am I to do?
Yeah.
Like I'm spoiled with because my sister is like a pitch perfect singer. She can hit every single note on my guitar perfectly with her voice, and like I'm exposed to these like wannabe metal vocalists who can't sing properly, and it's I don't know, man.
That's part of your problem. You're playing metal.
I think I just have to be firm with my bandmates. Yeah, that might be the problem. I think I just have to be firm with my bandmates and stand my ground to be like, no, I'm not gonna vote, because we have a we vote all or nothing type
Well, why
thing.
can't
like,
you?
if
Why can't you?
everyone's in or it's not.
Why
we go
can't you
for it,
use
so
a
I might just
singer? I
vote.
mean, like, look, don't get a 50% singer, but what if you can find? Like, what's the compromise here? Like to get, because the thing that you risk with this is if you put your foot down too much, you burn your band out, and then they don't want to do it anymore because they're tired of not moving.
Yeah, but I'm almost at my feeling of a vocalist is like all or nothing. Like if he's not a perfect fit for the band, I would rather not play in a band. It's got to be good. Like I
Well, I mean,
really feel that
so
way.
long as you know that, then just be ready for that,
yeah.
Yeah.
because that could be the case. Because the
I'll
thing
just
is,
find another
you have
guy.
to be, because
Just let us
I've
know who you
done,
find, I guess.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I've talked to a ton of vocalists who like they want to be a frontman and like we already have a screamer or whatever, but I don't know. It's just a mess. Maybe I can. I don't know. I feel like we should just keep looking until we find the right one, because the leads keep coming in. I'm always able to produce more leads every day for vocalists, and there's always like that 1 out of 15 guys who's like really good. It's like we've already gone through 2 who are really good. One of them just flaked and just didn't show up, right? And the other one I'm still trying to push for an
flakes.
audition. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like if we settle with, like, they want to go with this guy that we auditioned like a few days ago. If we go with this guy and then find someone who is actually awesome, I'm gonna be like so angry.
It's such a millennial approach to it.
Well, dude, just fire that guy. Like, what you gotta do? I mean,
It's
like I said before,
that's like a lot of people, the way a lot of people think about dating.
So we're about to
like, we'll think
record.
this
Like
person,
we're
then meet somebody else later.
yeah.
That's like the internal, like.
Yeah, but a
stress.
band is supposed to be like a family, right? I can't think like that. I can't think like, well, I'll just fire
you
this guy
can.
later.
You can, like, within a certain time period. If they're playing shows with you for a few months, then you find somebody else. That's the kind of a dick move to fire them. But if they're in the band for like 2 or 3 weeks, and you guys still aren't a fully established band yet, because like what we did when we hired bands, we had members in our band. We had like a probationary period where if they felt like they weren't a good fit for the band, or we felt like they weren't a good fit for our band, they had like 2 or 3 months to like decide that.
Genius.
That way, like,
Probation period.
yeah, because that way, like, if they don't like it, they don't have to stay because you guys don't know each other yet. Being in a band is like being married. Like you're gonna be
That's
working,
right. Just divorce people. You don't want to be
living,
married
driving,
to.
sleeping with these dudes for as long as you do music.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You,
I'm
you
gonna
gotta make
discuss
sure it's
this
right.
with my band. Yeah, I have
Definitely
to.
do that.
The thing is too, because it's
That
like,
way you guys don't get
probation.
stuck with somebody who sucks.
because what's the
someone doesn't get
issue?
stuck with you guys.
What's the issue with like playing a few shows with a singer that's not really that great? Because I mean, you're not big. You're not losing anything.
We don't play shows. We're really hyper focused on just getting this EP done because we have these songs written, right? And we just want to go record.
Yeah, record them first and then play
That's
shows.
fair enough.
A good
Yeah.
way to go.
Yeah,
But,
that's what that's what all the more successful musicians say to do, and that's the way I thought of doing it from the get go. Is like, and my band is on board with that. You know,
That's what I've learned in my
Yeah, I
experience.
think it does
my
make
band did
sense.
it the opposite. And that's what happened.
it doesn't make sense to play shows without recorded music because they don't have a way to remember you. You just play shows and then people just forget. You know,
Right.
you're not
Yeah,
building
but
a fan base. You're
unless-
just playing a show.
Unless you can get money if you like play
That's
like
true,
for a festival
yeah.
or something.
If you don't
But,
have a following, like, how you would get money?
But hey, do you guys want to move on from music?
Yeah.
And I think we have some other topics, and like not
Shit.
everyone out there is in bands.
Yeah, I know. We've
Yeah,
already
that's
almost
true,
like
that's true.
met our
We
time.
talked for an
limit.
hour about music.
Like mainly not even music, just like singers.
Yeah,
and
no,
stuff.
I mean, I think it
Oh,
was good. I think it was good.
Real quick before we move on, I have a joke. How do you know when a singer is at the door?
How?
They can't find the key, and they ask you when to come in.
Genius way to set it off. All right, so I guess
That's
my
true.
takeaway from this is discuss a probation period with my bandmates about whatever singer we choose
Yep.
and maintain our all or nothing voting. It's like, if not all of us are in, then he's out.
I agree.
Kind of what we
Boom.
do. So.
It's
We
all
haven't
it's
chosen
all
a vocalist yet because I keep voting no.
it's all downhill or uphill, downhill, which is good.
It's all horizontal from here.
It's all straight from here. So, yeah, we talked about that for a lot longer than I planned to, but I think it was good. I feel like I can't hardly go into the next topics because they won't go anywhere. So
I
O.J.
think-
Simpson is getting out of prison.
Oh, he is?
Yep. They.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I heard, yeah.
Yep. He is getting so. Hide your wives, hide your kids. October 1st, 2017, because he's gonna be walking out of prison.
Dang.
Yeah. Pretty.
I feel like he would be. I mean, I think he would do anything again.
Dude, okay, so you would think that, but I was looking back on it, and it's like, okay, so I consider myself to be an expert on the whole O.J. Simpson trial because I watched
really?
the TV show.
I know, like, next
Yeah,
to
the TV
nothing
show
about
was
the
good.
O.J. Simpson trial.
TV show was really good.
Yeah, so oh, you don't know anything about it, Michael, at all?
I mean, I know, like, why he got killed, like, why he got sent to jail a long time ago. And he
Right.
killed people and stuff, but, like, I have not followed it at all.
So being the expert that I am, because I watched the TV show, I
Totally,
can
makes
tell
sense.
you exactly what happened. So like he got like married and divorced, and he was like super popular. He played football. He was on TV. He had like TV shows. But he got divorced, and then I think a couple years later, his ex-wife and her boyfriend, I think, or husband, I don't know if it was her boyfriend or friend or husband, both got
I
murdered.
thought you were an expert. Like, you knew all this.
No, if I don't know it, nobody knows it. Um. So anyway, he basically went to court, and there was this big thing, and it was like he tried to run away from the police when he got accused, and so like he was trying to escape in his car, and it wasn't like a high speed chase, but it was like on the highway, like on the California, I think it was the 101 highway, and they played it, like they recorded it on the news, and like the finals for basketball were playing, and they like stopped the finals and cut to the chase because that's how huge it was. And it was like
That's where that saying comes from. I understand now.
Oh, probably.
It all makes sense.
So anyway, to wrap the story
Learned
up
so much today.
really quick,
Okay.
he was like they went to trial, and it was like a year something long trial, and he ended up getting out, even though a lot of people think he was guilty. He didn't go to jail.
They made it about race too, like.
Yeah, it was a big race thing too. So he got out, and then the only reason he's in jail now is because. Okay, so actually, let's rewind. Because so he went to this trial. It's like the trial of the century. Like people say, it's the biggest trial that they've ever seen in terms of coverage. Like everyone was watching. It was this big, huge thing. And you'd think that after a year of being in like trial, that he would kind of straighten up since he didn't go to jail. Nope. Like he's gotten in trouble so much since the trial. Like he went to Miami and he got like arrested multiple times for like assault, drug possession, speeding, stealing satellite TV.
Sounds like a wise young man.
He owed like 100 or like 1.4 million in taxes.
Oh man.
It's just like, dude, you got off. What are you doing? Like,
Maybe he feels guilty.
you gotta lay low.
Maybe he feels invincible. He's like, man, I got away with murder.
The juice.
I can do whatever I want.
I can do it again.
It doesn't matter.
Well,
I can steal cable TV.
Yeah, I know. I love that was one of the things listed. But he, I guess, eventually went to Vegas and robbed something. I think he robbed something that he thought belonged to him. I don't know. It's just like, can you imagine like that at that point though? Like he all this stuff happens with him, and then he goes and robs this place, and now he's like in court again. Like, oh boy, here we go.
Yep.
Here we go again. So then he went to jail for like 30 years, and he had like a 9-year probation, and so now he's getting out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I hope he does well and doesn't do anything bad.
Probably will. Well, maybe. Okay, so when he got off, he did all those bad things.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe since he went to jail, finally, he might. I don't know. What's
I mean,
the
30
history
years,
of?
30 years is a long time. He could have grown.
No, he
Changed.
got sentenced for 30 years, but he got probation after 10 or 9, so he's getting out now.
Still, 10 years is a long time.
What's
He's
like
like
the history
70.
of criminals getting out of prison and then committing crimes again? Like, there's stats for that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think
Sure there are.
it's pretty high. Like,
Google.
Like if you go to prison, you're likely, and you get out, you're likely to go back to prison.
That's true. But what about like for like a decade though? Because I think people who go to prison and then they get out, like if they're in prison for a few months or whatever, they get out, they're still in the same state of mind. You know.
I feel like it's
but what
the
if, like, they've
opposite.
been in there for like 10 years, everything changes. Like you're
I feel like I feel like it'd be the
crimes
opposite
supposed to be
because if you're in prison for 10 years, you wouldn't know how to live outside of prison.
That's another good point.
Like you would just be so used to that being your life. Because I mean, think about 10 years is a long time, and you know if you think about the way you've been living for 10 years, and then trying to change that, especially if you're a lot older.
I mean, like, Luke, what if you were suddenly 35? Like, I guess
What?
think about it that way. 'Cause
What do
if
you
he's in prison for 10 years, you're 25, right? You went to prison for 10 years now, you'd be...
What does that mean though?
Like, he basically, like, lost 10 years of his life that just got cut out. Like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's not like
He's going back
prison
into
goes
the...
quickly though. He lives there. He talks to people
Yeah,
there.
but he can't
you know?
do what he wants.
Yeah,
But
that's
also,
true, but it's
there are
like you
lots
have
of
to go
programs in
back
prison.
into the world. I don't know. You don't have these, like, I don't know. You don't grow up in the world and mature in the world. You mature in prison. Or, I don't know how that would be. I guess none of
It's
us
gotta
can
be
speak for
different.
that. We've never been to
Yeah.
prison.
Hopefully, none of us have
Looked
been
it
in
up.
prison.
An estimated two-thirds, 68%, of 405,000 prisoners were released in 30 states in 2005. Two-thirds of them were arrested for a new crime within 3 years of their release from prison.
Yeah, see, I told
And
that's
three-quarters were
that's
arrested within
so
5 years.
high.
That is really high.
Whoa,
Yeah,
And it doesn't, I guess it
That's
doesn't say
really
how long they were
high.
in there, so I guess it was varying length.
60%.
68%.
Dang.
I guess prison doesn't work.
There is a lot of debates
Well, it works
about
while they're in
whether
prison.
it's flawed. They don't go to prison when they're in prison.
They're in prison. They can't get arrested, so it's great.
Wow, that's crazy.
Damn, man.
Yeah, there's something to be drawn out of those numbers. Wow.
Yeah, someone's gonna die now that OJ's getting out.
Yeah.
But like I said, but I think it varies, and I don't know. I don't know anything about OJ and how he is as a person then or now. But I feel like after 10 years, if you really like realize, oh crap, I did something wrong, and maybe you have time to think about it, and there are lots of rehabilitation programs in prisons. Maybe he found
Yeah, but
better way
like
to
I
live,
think he
but I don't
did
know.
it though. Like that's my whole thing is like I think he murdered those two people and he's getting out of prison.
Yeah, I think so too.
if he murdered somebody, he can still change though.
Yeah, but he still
10 years
murdered
is a long
somebody.
time. 10 years is about half our lifetime.
It's not. I think I'm thinking less about him, and I'm thinking more about like the families and stuff that he ruined because he murdered these people.
That's true.
So I'm kind of
Yeah,
like,
That is pretty sucky.
it's like, oh,
that he-
well, if he gets out, he could be a good person. It's like, no, too late. He already killed somebody, and I don't know. I mean,
you want him to have like the consequences of his actions.
yeah, I don't. Well, I guess it's the
Or
justice of it. It's like the fact that, he has 10 years, but this family has forever. Their son got killed. Their daughter got killed. That's forever. That's not like a temporary thing.
That's true. That's a good point.
And now
Yeah.
they're seeing him get out. Well, they saw actually this is the second time because they
I mean,
saw
he's
him
not
get
even being
off.
punished for that crime still. So
Yeah,
there's
that's
no
true.
justice at all for that crime.
Yeah.
Right.
Assuming he committed it.
So yeah,
Which I think
because
he did.
some people say it's possible he didn't. I think he did though. It's pretty because he has so much history of like physical like violence towards people, and so it
Yeah.
just kind of lines up. I don't know, pretty crazy.
He's in Florida, right?
He's in prison, Nick.
I mean,
Yeah,
like,
well,
he will
yeah,
be.
I think he'll go back to Miami.
Careful, dude. I just
Yeah.
met you, but I
Yeah.
care about you. Don't go outside.
Thanks. I mean, I care more about finding a new singer than I do about. Like, him getting out of
I'm gonna
jail.
brave the freedom of OJ to find that singer
Do it for the band. Do it for the band.
for the band. For the band, man. For
I
the
mean,
band.
man, if he can
for the
sing,
band.
Scott Pilgrim.
Yes.
he can sing.
Yes. That's Edgar
dude,
Wright, by
so-
the way.
Side note: when Luke, you talked about the guy who directed
Baby
The Room?
Driver.
Yeah, Baby Driver.
Yeah.
I had seen tons of his movies. I just didn't know. Like Scott Pilgrim versus the World is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah. That's
And
him.
I've seen a few of his other movies.
Shaun
All
of
his
the
movies
Dead,
are
I
all so
guess.
cool, like so well styled.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
They're
I need to
great.
watch
But we can
more of
move on.
him.
Oh, he's so good. He's one of my favorite directors.
Have you seen Dunkirk yet?
No.
I'm gonna see that this weekend.
Oh
I
my
need to try and go see
It is
it.
the best movie I've seen in a very long time.
Really?
Like if it was badly filmed, if everything except the story was bad, it would still be good because the story was so good.
See, I expect it to be good. I've heard that it's very good. But one thing that I was wondering, and that has been confirmed by some people, is like I feel like there's no main character, so it might be kind of hard to
Whoa,
like
whoa,
connect.
whoa. Okay, wait.
Yeah.
We can't go into this. Can't go into this because I
This
haven't
isn't a
seen
spoiler.
it.
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
I know, but like,
like-
Michael, if someone tells you a spoiler and then you pass it on, like, well, dude, I haven't seen
No,
it, so it doesn't
I haven't talked to
count.
anybody about it, but I know from like looking at the trailers that there's no like, it's not like a
Well, let's not.
one
Nick,
character. You're not following
don't
one
say
character
anything,
the whole
Nick.
way through.
Don't answer. Well,
It's like everyone.
Okay, I won't
it's,
answer. I
It's
won't
a big
answer,
group of
but-
people.
But it's very the story is very uniquely written. Like I've never seen a movie that has a story anything like this. That's what I've wanted for so long because so many movies feel so templated these days. Like every Marvel movie feels the same. Like
that's true.
I don't know, every movie I see, it's kind of like I can predict how it's gonna, like how the outline of the story is gonna happen. When is the I don't know. I'm
Like
just
here's
pissed
like the change of heart. Here's like where the hero almost dies.
Yeah,
Comes
it's
back
like
to
the
life.
same
Yeah,
3-act
exactly.
structure,
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
same
exactly,
conflicts.
dude. I hate it. And
Yeah.
Dunkirk's nothing like that. It is
All right,
a
cool.
completely
Well, I
unique
definitely need to
story.
see it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
really
stoked.
want to see it.
I'm
I would
seeing it,
see it
tomorrow
again.
night, actually.
I'm not seeing it till probably next week, unfortunately, because I'm going out of town this weekend.
I would see it
I'll
again.
see it by next Thursday, and we can talk about it.
Oh, I should actually. Well, dang, it's so hard because like now I gotta get everybody to go see it. I guess
I
most
really
people
want to
probably
hear what
to.
you think of it because I freaking loved it. The
Yeah,
story
but you didn't
alone
like
made
Baby
it for
Driver
me.
that much, and did you see Baby Driver?
But I did not like
Michael?
it. There's nothing that I
haven't
don't
seen it
like
yet. I
about
want
Baby
to.
Driver
Oh.
except that door thing.
I can't believe that's what you brought up. This amazing movie. So, Michael, here's what happened. This amazing
Okay.
movie, editing, acting, story, style, music, pacing, choreography. It's like everything is amazing. I tell Nick it's so good. Go see it. He sends me a text after watching it that says there is a continuity error where the door was open in one scene and then closed in the next. That's what he took away from that movie.
Oh man, I mean that can't ruin it, man. All he does is think about that door.
But,
I don't know.
if
I didn't even.
that's-
I've seen the movie 3 times, and I don't even know where that was.
You know what I think is funny? Side note.
true.
Well, not side note, but like continuity errors. Continuity errors. The funniest ones are like when two people are in a conversation, and you know how like I think this actually happens in Spider-Man: Homecoming when Spider-Man and Tony Stark are on the roof talking.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever it cuts the camera behind Tony Stark to Peter Parker,
Right.
Tony Stark is talking, but his mouth isn't moving,
Yeah.
or he's like in a different position than he
There's
was.
a lot.
in
There's
the
a lot
one.
where they will cut. There's a lot of movies where they'll cut and they'll have their hand like on their face.
Yeah,
and then
it'll
it'll cut to the
another
other
shot, like,
angle,
behind
and their
them.
hand will not be on their face. And then it'll keep going back and
Yeah,
forth.
that's-
That happens.
It's
in a
not
lot
that
of
big a
movies.
deal because it's just a conversation. You can assume that maybe they moved their hand for a second, but sometimes they'll
No.
cut back really quickly and they're
No,
back
it's
in
like,
the original
because
position.
it's immediate. It's like one shot. It's there, and it will cut to the other angle, and it's immediately gone. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
like they would have had to move their hand light speed.
Oh man.
Yeah, I guess there is no excuse.
It's just
Get on
it's a
your game,
continuity
Oliver.
error. You
Close
know?
that door, Baby Driver.
Yeah, I can't believe that. I can't believe it.
I've heard it's really good.
But there's nothing I didn't like about it. I just wasn't. I mean, I was engaged through the entire movie, which was awesome. I love that. But it wasn't. No, I don't. I guess the story just wasn't
I mean,
excessively awesome.
it's
to me.
kind of style over substance.
I know, but I'm
Well,
a story guy. Like I love movies with great stories.
I think that
I've
they
gotten
took the
onto that because so many movies repeat the same templated scripts, and it's like, I don't know. I feel like all the movies I see, it's like, oh, let's take the script of that movie and put in new sets and new characters and change the dialogue up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I
Nothing's
think that
completely
there,
new.
There is something to be said about that because I know that I am impressed with how people do things, not always what. So it's like,
Yeah.
well, how did they tell the story? And now I do like good story, and I'm impressed by like original stories, but I do find myself impressed with like, okay, Baby Driver took a more simple story and completely told it in a way I never see people tell stories.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm impressed with that sometimes, but I guess I don't know. I guess the story just didn't catch me. Like,
whatever, it's fine. I'll just go see Dunkirk.
I mean,
It probably sucks if Nick thinks it's good.
that's possible. All my friends say I like bad movies because I said I liked
Your friends are
I liked
wrong,
Spider-Man
by the
1 and 2 a lot, and then
Well, Spider-Man 2
they
is
said-
supposed to be like the best Spider-Man.
Yeah, but they said it's
It
bad.
is.
Your friends are dumb.
That's what I'm saying, dude. They're like, I'm like
Dude,
everyone.
You need to move out of Florida. Everyone
all
there
those
is
crazy
stupid. They like
Florida
bad
people.
singing. They don't like Spider-Man movies.
Okay, but my band members like Spider-Man, so I can stay in the band. So,
Oh, dang it. It's
Yeah,
weird.
but like, I have
Michael's
three.
like, "Oh, no,
I have
a
three
contradiction."
friends. I have three friends that say they don't know anyone who likes those first Spider-Man movies, and I can list people on both hands and my feet that like the first two Spider-Man movies, and I can
my
only
feet.
list. I can only use one hand to count my three friends that don't like those movies, and they claim that I'm wrong. Like,
You need to move, dude.
That's right.
Just need to move.
All right, guys, we need to end this podcast because it's gone longer than all the others.
like an hour and a half now.
something like that. It might be longer than that. I don't know. Because we we had to fix those little issues. So anyway, let's wrap this up, guys. Thanks for coming out. What do we want to plug? Nick, what's your band name?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Days Gone By.
Cool.
And do you actually? Let's start with you, Nick. So, is there anything that you want to tell people about? This is kind of like the commercial part of the podcast where you get to say, what you do. Actually, I'll tell you what. I'll start, or actually, Michael, you start because I always close.
All right. Well, I don't have much to plug right now. I do have a lot of stuff in the works. I'm working on a lot of new music for my bands. We're currently called Foxhole Kingdom, but like I said earlier, we've been on hiatus for a while. We're changing members. It's currently just me and a drummer, just like Nick's band, funnily enough.
Man.
And
But I have a screamer.
we don't have a screamer, but I yell really loudly when I'm playing guitar sometimes. But we're working on some new music. So I don't know when that'll be out.
And
but
you
just check
have
us
a
out,
Facebook
Foxhole
page,
Kingdom.
I guess?
Yeah, just search this Foxhole Kingdom. If you look us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, we're on all those things. But things are going to be changing. So if you love us, either don't get too attached or tell us you love us so we can bring the other guys back. And follow me on Instagram. My name is Michael Dimas, MykoLDimas. And and the Burning Hearts. That's the band I'm in right now. We are releasing an EP later this year. So check us out.
Yeah.
We're on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And just make sure you put The Burning Hearts.
The Burning
There's another band
Hearts
that's called Burning
and
Hearts.
Foxhole Kingdom. Search them on Facebook.
Yep.
Okay, Nick, what about you?
Yeah, my band's Days Gone By. We have nothing, and we need a vocalist. That's
We
all.
don't
So
even
in
have
like,
a Facebook
in like 2
page.
months, guys, look them up on Facebook.
We don't have a Facebook page. We have nothing. We're not online at all. There's no way to find anything about us or our music. Like, we
Get
just
on
need
it.
a vocalist. We need a singer. If you know a singer in Florida, then like, I don't know, go through Luke or something.
That's right. Tweet at me,
Find me.
which that gives
Let
me,
us know when you have stuff online, and we'll plug it again on the podcast.
Do you
Awesome,
have?
yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. So, Nick, do you have anything else though? Any ways people can contact you, or
You can find me on
anything else?
Facebook, Nicholas Rubright. Yeah.
Message him, or
I don't do a
tweet
lot
me.
of social media, but you can message me. I respond to like all my messages on Facebook really fast because I'm gonna think you're a vocalist.
Okay, and you can follow me on Twitter at Luke Roxwold. I have a YouTube channel, Luke Roxwold Vlogs, which, big announcement, I am releasing a vlog Monday, and it's actually kind of a big deal. I've spent way more time on this video than I should have, but it's got a lot of good material and stuff and good content. Really want a lot of people to watch it. I've been hyping it up a lot, and I'm going to hype it up even more this weekend. So Monday morning is when that video comes out. Be excited. I decided to take my roommate's drone with a couple of my friends, and he wasn't there, and we flew it around, and some bad things happened. So
Oh snap!
be excited for it. Okay, anything else,
Bad
everybody?
things make for
Everybody
good
good?
videos.
Thanks for joining us, everybody, and just check out the other podcasts, I guess. Thanks, everybody.
Outro music.